What's up, coral people? My name is Remy, and today we're going to be talking about your first ever macroalgae display tank. In this build series, I'm going to answer the questions: why would anybody want a macroalgae display tank? Aren't we trying to stay away from algae in this hobby? What are the differences in care between setting up a macroalgae display tank and a mixed reef? What equipment is needed? Where do I get these plants? And I'm going to set up this 9.1 gallon Aquamax to house my very own macroalgae display tank. Let's get started. So why? Why would anybody in their right mind want a macroalgae display tank? If you're on social media, you've probably run into some of these displays before and thought that they were freshwater tanks. Most newcomers to the hobby are drawn to the fluorescing colors of all the beautiful coral, or perhaps it's the vibrant marine fishes that draw you in. Normally, you're not going to start with something like a macroalgae tank. However, if you're looking to jump into a whole new facet of this hobby, you gotta try this out. First things first, not all algae is green, and not all algae looks like this. Just like the fish and coral of the ocean, its plants also come in a wide variety of colors. From the green, like Caulerpa and Chetomorpha, and the reds, like Gracilaria and Dragon's Breath, to the less commonly known blue hypnea, which can present a bluish purple hue. It also comes in many different shapes, sizes, and textures. One of my favorites is the shaving brush macro, or even the cactus-like Halmidia. It can also represent the ferns of a palm tree, or the even weirder codium, which can be known as sea fingers or dead man's fingers. If you've got an artistic eye, you can already see the endless possibilities when it comes to aquascaping. Even if you're not so artistic, that's okay. You're going to be able to explore a whole new world of organisms in the saltwater hobby. Which leads me to my next topic: the creatures that can inhabit your macroalgae tank. You can house many of the same organisms and inverts as you would in your mixed reef, but for these, I like to showcase the really cool organisms like the pom-pom crab. Try putting a pom-pom crab in a large display and you may never see the little guy. But put him in a small macroalgae tank and you'll probably see him a lot more, and that cool symbiotic relationship that the pom-pom crab has with those anemones. My buddy Blaine also has a famous purple lobster. Feeding them is super fun, and they will definitely be the star of the show in your macro tank. The amount of underrated inverts and organisms in this hobby is endless. Obviously, you'll want to do the proper research when it comes to adding any new organisms into your tank. And as far as equipment goes, a macroalgae tank can be super affordable. I'm just going to do a brief overview of the types of equipment that you'll need for a macroalgae display tank, and we'll really dig in the next video. Let's start at square one. Obviously, you're gonna need a tank for this. In this build series, I'm gonna be using the Aquamax 9.1 gallon cuboid shape. So this is gonna be a longer version of a tank, which is gonna give us some really cool scaping opportunities down the road. Another cool thing about a macroalgae display is that you don't necessarily need a sump, and you don't necessarily need to have an all-in-one function on the tank. And that opens up a lot of possibilities as well. Other than that, you really just need flow, some sand, some rock, a heater, and a light, plus a little bit of creativity. You can still use reef lighting for your macroalgae display, but these things really pop under full spectrum lights. This type of lighting leads to some really good photos and videos. You don't have to battle the blue light that we have in our reef tanks with an orange filter. You can capture all of the organisms and plants in this tank without a filter at all. As with anything in this hobby, there's hundreds of different ways to do the same thing. So these small tanks really give you those options to be creative. In the comments below, let me know if you've already got a macroalgae display tank or if you're planning on joining along and maybe starting a macroalgae display tank of your own. Pico Macro. Very small, but also very large. If you want to join me on this build, take a look at all the products I'll be using right here.